You all told me that you wanted to see day trips from Raleigh, so if you're in the mood for beautiful scenery, quaint little shops, or some of the best food in North Carolina, you're gonna wanna see today's video. And I figured since I was going to the mountains, I probably should show you the winter recreation options there, but you all know I'm a Florida girl. Snow skis are really not my thing. You can put me on some water skis and I'm gonna be totally fine, but put me on snow skis and I'm probably not gonna be there very long. But it's February, so we're not gonna be seeing any water skiing in this video. Today I'm going to show you some of the best winter recreation, winter hiking in the most adorable small mountain town in North Carolina. I'm also going to warn you about something that happens in the wintertime in the mountains that could make your trip completely miserable, and you definitely don't want that to happen. Blowing Rock is a storybook town in northwestern North Carolina.
How about a cup of hot coffee?
If you're day tripping from Raleigh, you're just gonna hop on 40. It's a straight shot all the way to Blowing Rock, and it's gonna take you about 3 hours to get there. About halfway there is a really cool part of North Carolina that I think it's personally the most beautiful part of North Carolina. It's the Yadkin Valley, which is our wine country, and it's really got this beautiful rolling topography. And they tell me that those rolling hills combined with the red clay soil is really a lot like Tuscany in Italy. And so living in North Carolina is kind of like living in Italy. Because of this, there are tons of wineries all throughout this region. You can find them all over the place. Sit down, have a glass of wine, and take in some absolutely beautiful views. There's one winery called the West Bend Winery. It's right off of I-40, so it's pretty convenient to get to. They often have like food trucks and live music and stuff like that. You definitely want to check their website or call them or something and find out what their hours are, because they can be a little bit limited at times. I think they're usually open Wednesdays through Sundays after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but definitely check by the day to make sure. It's in the little town of Louisville, which is another place that I love to drive through if I'm going there. It takes like, I don't know, all of 5 minutes to drive through Louisville because it's a tiny little village, but it's so quaint. It looks like something you would see on a Hallmark movie. It's just very sweet, and it's right off the highway again. So generally we stop by there on our way to the mountains. So at this point in the Yadkin Valley, you're about 90 minutes from Blowing Rock. So if you haven't had too many glasses of wine, it's not going to take you very long to get the rest of the way to Blowing Rock. Now, when you get to downtown Blowing Rock, you'll notice that there are a ton of little quaint inns in the town. There's actually 19 to be exact, actually 20 if you believe this website, but they're counting the Holiday Inn. I don't count the Holiday Inn as an inn. To me, that's a hotel. What about you? Do you think that's actually an inn? And where do you prefer to stay when you're on vacation? Do you do an inn or an Airbnb or a bed and breakfast, luxury hotel, or a resort? What's your favorite place to stay when you go for a trip? Anyway, all of these inns in downtown Blowing Rock are really quaint, and most of them are walking distance to all of the little boutiques and restaurants and things like that. So it's a really great experience to be able to stay right in town. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Are you okay with the camera?
Oh, absolutely, it's totally fine.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a little crazier.
So if you're in Blowing Rock and you want authentic North Carolina food like barbecue and banana pudding, you're gonna wanna head over to Woodlands Barbecue. Sunny Rock is also a really great place for breakfast. Both of those are over on the main road, so you can't walk to anything from there, you have to drive to them. Town Tavern is in town, and that's one of the most popular restaurants there. They've got pub fare like fish and chips and chicken tacos and that sort of thing. And this is where I tell you the bad news. In Blowing Rock, during the winter, almost everything is closed, especially if you go during the week, like we did. This is where we're eating, but I don't see anybody there. No, they said they were open.
Well, it seemed to definitely be closed.
They said they opened at 8:30. Weekends only. I don't think we're going to be able to eat anywhere because I think everything's closed. All right.
Well, that'll be awkward. It's closed.
I'm telling you, we got really hungry looking for food. Practically every place we stopped at was closed. I think we should go to the little grocer. Is that right here?
Yeah.
But the good news is that adversity sometimes makes you discover really cool stuff. So this is how we ended up at the Blowing Rock Market. So to look at the Blowing Rock Market from the outside, it really just looks like an old gas station. I mean, it's kind of fancy. We've got a thing for fancy gas stations here in North Carolina. But anyway, you can tell it's a refurbished gas station. So we probably never would have walked in there, except it was a market, and I was like, okay, we're hungry. We can't find any place to eat. Let's go in here and see what they've got. Okay, they've got an amazing selection of wines, all kinds of like organic and, you know, like higher end foods and things like that. So we stocked up to make breakfast back at our room since we couldn't find a breakfast place open. And then we discovered that the Blowing Rock Market is kind of like the town center of community. The owner, Dave, if you're in there, you should definitely go talk to Dave. He is like a wealth of information, and he's just a very welcoming person. But he has stuff like he'll do things like set up tons of rocking chairs outside around a big fire pit just so that people can come and hang out and talk to each other. And it just seems like really meeting other people can be really hard in this post-COVID economy. And I feel like that's just like the heart of a small town, actually sitting and chatting with people and seeing what it's really like and meeting different people probably from all over as well. So you definitely want to check out Blowing Rock Market. It is more than just a gas station.
If you're looking for a small town, we got it. Want to be a mountain town, we got it. An archy town, we got it. A college town, we got it. We're kind of a blank slate. We're a little bit of all those things, which can sometimes mean you don't really have a soul. Somehow or another, we still have a soul. If you're looking for a town you can live, bring a family, and still make a living.
Right.
We can be that now too.
Another cool thing about Blowing Rock is there are some absolutely beautiful drives all over. We told Google to take us from Boone to Blowing Rock using the quickest route, and this is the way that they took us. Now, I am not a super big fan of curvy roads. It like upsets my stomach, but it really was beautiful. I have to admit that.
This is not your BMW. It doesn't take curves the same way.
How narrow is it?
It's very narrow. It's a steep drop, people, steep drop.
And there's also the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is absolutely stunning, and they've built in overlooks all along the parkway. So rather than paying the $7 at the Blowing Rock to get a view, you can stop anywhere along the Blue Ridge Parkway and probably get a better view, to be completely honest.
Don't run into anything.
If you have kids with you, keep in mind that Tweetsie Railroad is only open from April to December. There's also a really cool place called Mystery Hill, which I've never been to, which is really weird because it seems like exactly my kind of thing. It's got some kind of weird gravitational pull where things don't go the right way, and you can see water like flowing uphill instead of downhill. And then they've got all kinds of like other fun stuff to do, like axe throwing and other like vacation.
1930s, 1940s, when the automobile was coming into its day and people were starting to travel. They were traveling, they were doing road trips, they're looking for things to do on the roadside.
If you don't have kids, you might want to check out the Chitola Resort. That is the luxury resort in Blowing Rock, and it's super popular and absolutely gorgeous. There are numerous hiking trails all around Blowing Rock. Around Bass Lake, there's a whole bunch. Then there's also Moses H. Cone Park, which is just to the north of the town. And there you can hike for miles and miles. There are waterfalls, beautiful views. It's a fantastic place to hike. The most popular skiing destinations are Beach Mountain, Sugar Mountain, and Appalachian Mountain. Appalachian's only a few minutes, like 7 or 8 minutes from Blowing Rock, about 30 minutes to Sugar Mountain, and about 45 to Beach Mountain. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that I didn't talk about in this video that you would have liked to see. And if you liked this video, you'll probably also like this one about 5 really cute mountain towns right around Blowing Rock.